October 2022. I was in Jamaica for my best friend's wedding. We had stayed at a nice all-inclusive resort built like a kingdom with small portions of a village to go to restaurants, insane pools, clubs, shops, everything. But you could tell it was pretty old, with renovations. I was single then and stayed in my own room, though I didn't spend much time there because we were out doing stuff. Well, when traveling, local food doesn't always agree with me, so one night I stayed in just trying to find something on the TV to watch. Late at night, someone knocked on my door. I knew my friend might come to check on me at some point, so I figured it was him. But when I opened the door, no one was there. The halls were big and wide with marble floors, so you could see in both directions and would surely hear someone running away. Also, the resort had two sides, family and singles. I was on the farthest side of the singles side, so I don't think there were any kids playing pranks. Honestly, I would say it's nearly impossible for someone to knock on the door and hide that quickly without hearing them sneak into another room or something. Oh well, I thought. Later, I'm sitting in the bathroom on the toilet because, again, the Jamaican cuisine didn't sit well with me. They actually had a landline telephone on the wall at the toilet. How neat. Well, the phone starts ringing. I pick it up, stunned, and say, "Hello?" There was a kind of analog sputtering sound that had no rhythm to it, just clicking sporadically. So, I hang up. At this point, I'm really trying to pretend like both occurrences are just strange coincidences. I told myself if the front desk needed to call me, they would call back, but they didn't. It then occurred to me that I had only heard the phone ring from the bathroom and did not hear the phone by the bed ringing, which shouldn't be the case if anyone was to call this room. Having no way to process this logically, I tried to put it out of my mind. I've experienced some strange things before, so I wasn't freaking out, but this was beginning to mess with my peace of mind a bit. Anyway, I ended up getting some not-so-great sweaty sleep and feeling better but not great the next morning. I decided to take a long shower with the lights off, something I find very relaxing. When, all of a sudden, I hear another 3 knocks at the door, only this sounded different. It sounded louder, closer. It sounded like it had come not from the front door of the hotel room but the door to the bathroom. I sat in the darkness in the shower, naked, replaying the sounds of the knock in my head, trying to convince myself that I was wrong, but I wasn't. My brain immediately recognized it as the bathroom door, and I had to trust that. At that point, I knew this was not normal. This hotel room had another visitor. When I mustered the courage to get out of the shower and hurriedly turn on all the lights, I remembered something peculiar that had happened earlier in the trip. Throughout the trip, I kept having problems with my key card. I had to have a new key card linked to my door twice, seemingly for no good reason. Once, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was very drunk and sat outside my door for about 20 minutes waiting for a maintenance guy to come help. He comes and links a new key to my door, and I asked him, "Why does this keep happening?" He responded, "This is an old resort. Some strange things happen here sometimes." He said this with a bit of a smirk on his face. I have a close friend who used to work as a pool man, and he recently told me this truly terrifying tale. He used to do a lot of pools for clients in a place where most of the homes were used as vacation homes, so most of his clients were, of course, not at home at the time that he did their pool service. So sometimes, on particularly hot days, he and his assistant would take a short swim before they treated the pool with all of the chemicals they had to use. As you probably know, pools are typically treated or shocked with chlorine, and sometimes the chlorine levels may mean that you can't swim in the pool for a day or 2 after the shock treatment. And this day seemed really hot, especially after the thought of having to work outside the pool in the heat of the midday sun while seeing the tempting and cool water the whole time. My friend happened to know this particular client quite well, and since said client was out of town at the time, my friend knew that it would be okay if he invited his wife and mother over to swim and have lunch since both his wife and mother lived only a short distance away. They both happily agreed, and soon the family was together, enjoying a large sub sandwich with some chips and potato salad together. I guess the old rule about not swimming so soon after you eat is now considered sort of an old wives' tale because, after everyone finished their lunch, my friend took the liberty of being the first one into the soothing cool water on that uncomfortable and hot day. Not being one to just dive right into the deep end, though, my friend started out in the shallow end and enjoyed the immediate cooldown. His assistant, his wife, and his mother were still at the poolside picnic table, cleaning up the leftovers and garbage from their lunch. My friend says that he remembers feeling a very, very slight tingle in his hands and arms, but he wasn't alarmed by it. He was too busy just enjoying the cool water on his hot skin. After a few minutes of relaxing in the shallow end of the large built-in pool, my friend started swimming towards the deep end so that he could totally plunge himself into the water. But just as he was reaching the deeper waters, he started to really notice the tingling sensation getting more intense, and he was now experiencing it in his arms and legs. He was forced to stop paddling into the deep end as all of his strength seemed to leave his muscles at once. But it was too late. The tingling sensation was now so bad that he could hardly move at all. As he drifted helplessly into the deep end, he felt a terrifying chill as he realized that he was now unable to touch the bottom of the pool, unable to move an inch. It seemed as though his muscles were all giving out on him at once, and it started to dawn on him that he felt like he was being electrocuted. As my friend began to sink underwater, he tried desperately to break the water surface for a short breath, and he caught brief glimpses of life just continuing on before him. His mother, his wife, and his assistant were all oblivious to his plight. The situation got even more terrifying when my friend's wife and mother finally noticed that he appeared to be drowning, and they all ran over to the pool, ready to jump in and help. With a burst of strength, my friend managed to choke out, "Don't. I'm being electrocuted," in an attempt to stop them from jumping into the deadly water or touching him to try and rescue him and then getting shocked themselves. There was nothing left for his wife, his mother, or his assistant to do except watch in shock and horror as they realized that they really had no idea how to save him. My friend says that right about then, he started to feel totally drained. Then, he started to feel himself giving up. A peaceful feeling began to settle over him as he started to sink. He gazed up at the bright, lively sun shining down on him through the silvery, rippling water, and he felt more at peace in that moment than he ever had before. As a lifetime seemed to pass, my friend sank lower and lower towards the pool's cement bottom. But finally, just as he had almost completely given up on surviving his mysterious and terrifying ordeal, his feet finally made contact with the bottom. That caused him to ground out or something, he said, and that right there gave him the life-saving jolt of electricity that he needed to survive. As he shot off the bottom of the pool, he used that last bit of strength in order to save his own life. Fortunately for him, he had somehow drifted closer to the edge of the pool, and that allowed him to get a grip on the side and pull himself up and out as he shot out of the water, as he put it, in an instant. As he lay there on the pool's edge, catching his breath, he didn't even care about the heat of the cement touching his skin. In fact, he was just grateful to be out of the water. It wasn't until a little while later, after my friend's client got home from out of town, that he finally got to find out what actually happened to him that fateful day. As it turned out, his client had just had a new pool light installed a few feet under the water on the far side of the pool in the deep end earlier that very same day. Obviously, the light was somehow wired and installed wrong, therefore literally electrocuting my friend as he simply tried to enjoy an afternoon dip on a hot day in the cool pool. He is extremely thankful that he was the first and only one to jump into the pool that day. It just goes to show, at least in my eyes, that danger can often lurk in unexpected places, allowing others around you to be completely and totally oblivious to your dangerous situation. Not only that, but it also alarms me just how quickly anyone's life can change or even end at any given moment.